I'm Chris Cardaz.
And I'm John Fedko. And we love vinyl records. And we're going back to November 28th, 1981.
Would you like to come along?
Yes! Now, I was 21 years old in 1981, going to the University of Southern California. I weighed 220 pounds. I benched 375. And I worked out at Gold's Gym in Santa Monica. Those days are long gone, but I can tell you this. This music was sensational in the 80s. We both agree the 60s and the 70s produced maybe the greatest music of all time in the history of the world. But it did leak into the 80s, especially country music and Alabama. I love Alabama. I know we're going to talk about them on the show. But not only was country music starting to become huge, there were still great rock and roll artists.
Great rock and roll, and we're going to touch on a lot of it. We've got the top 10 albums here, plus I picked another 20 or 21 albums, and we're going to get started right away.
From the Billboard Top 200 charts, what are we starting with?
Number 198 this week, a big album for Neil Diamond, soundtrack from The Jazz Singer. The powers that be didn't like the movie, but I thought it was all right.
The music, sensational.
Yeah, tremendous album. One of his best LPs. You want to check that out. That's Hello Again and Love on the Rocks and They're Coming to America and a whole bunch of other great
Just a great soundtrack album.
Number 166, another tremendous album. This is a great group, the Manhattan Transfer and Mecca for Moderns. They made a lot of albums, they made a lot of fans, but they had their own niche there, and they never had a top 20 album in their entire career.
Just a great sounding vocal group. Sensational.
Tops in their class. Number 164 this week. Soundtrack to For Your Eyes Only, James Bond. Sheena Easton singing the title track and doing a bang-up job.
Of course, Sheena Easton, big star in the early 80s.
Oh,
huge.
Yeah. That's one of her best records. Number 147, The Grateful Dead and Dead Set. This is a 2-record set, like so. Oh,
Dead's at the top of their game in 81. I mean, they're at the top of their game.
It's a live album.
I mean, Dead has... You would drive around Southern California, and like every third car had that Dead, Grateful Dead sticker. I'm serious.
It's a live album. Go figure. Okay. Number 146 is my favorite album on the charts this week. This is the Alan Parsons Project and their album Turn of a Friendly Card. This is my kind of music. In the 80s, a lot of people took the music and they wanted to strip everything down and make it very basic and very like the punk groups and everything like that, and take it back to the Stone Age, the early days of rock and roll. But this is taking it the other direction and producing it with an orchestral sound and with tons of musicians.
Some of the best produced albums of all time were made by the Alan Parsons.
Absolutely. And this may be their best album. Wow. You want to check this out. We'll play a couple songs on
our big radio show.
On the radio. We are big radio stars. Number 136, coming out of Beaver County, Pennsylvania, Mr. Donnie Iris.
Wow, I knew you'd put this up here.
I love this. And big star in Pittsburgh. Everybody loves Donnie. He's a great guy. We're so proud of him coming out of Beaver County. Everybody loves Donnie. King Cool.
All right, we're looking at November 28th, 1981. Here comes Ozzy. You knew Ozzy was going to show up
Number
here.
136. This is the first Ozzy Osbourne album, Blizzard of Oz, with Mr. Crowley and Crazy Train off here. It's one of his classic LPs. This was a big album for him. It sold 4 million copies, and it was on the charts for 107 weeks. Next, we have number 128, another monster rock album. This is Rush and Moving Pictures. This is a career-defining LP. It sold 4 million copies, was on the charts for 75 weeks, and it is their most popular album, and it just blasted them into the stratosphere of rock superstars. Moving into the top 100, number 99. This is Electric Light Orchestra and an album called Time. All the last few albums, the last 5, 6, 7 albums were all top 10 monsters, but this is when they started over the hump. This one wasn't quite as big, but it's very, very good. So you want to check this album out if you can. It's an underrated album called Time. Number 74, this is a young lady by the name of Juice Newton. This is her first album on this label. She used to record with a band called the Silver Spur, I believe, or Silver Spurs. But this album had the hits on it, Angel of the Morning, and the song I think is the best single of the year. This is just my opinion, the Queen of Hearts.
The best single of the year?
I love it.
Wow.
I just love it.
There's some great singles in 81. Okay.
I love this song. It's
All
got
right.
a tremendous sound to it. We don't always agree.
Yeah, okay.
This is a soundtrack to a movie called Heavy Metal. It's a 2-record set. A lot of animation here, and this album is still sought after today.
Wow.
Everybody's always looking for this. When I was in the record stores, they were always looking for heavy metal soundtrack. Number 49 is a Bee Gees album. It's called Living Eyes. Now, this is the album after their monster success. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Saturday Night Fever sold 16 million copies and was number 1 for 24 weeks. The next album, Spirits Having Flown, was number 1 for 6 weeks. And in the interim, they had 6 number 1 singles in a row. Up to this point, 6 number 1 singles in a row. So their new album comes out, Living Eyes. It peaks at number 41, and there were absolutely no big hit singles from this album. So it's like running into a brick wall going 100 miles an hour. They just were oversaturated or something, or the disco scene was over, and all the people that
It was over by 81.
their fans were very fickle, and it's turned on them. It's a shame because it's a decent album, Living Eyes. Okay, we're moving right along to number 32. This is a greatest hits,
Blondie.
best of Blondie. And I like some of those teeny bopper type sounding records, some of their early tracks, that stuff, and that pop music.
I mean, they were late 70s, but this was really one of the voices of the 80s. Is Blondie.
Number 31, this is the 4th LP by the Cars. Shake
Another
It Up.
voices of the 80s, I would say. Late 70s, but voices of the 80s.
Their 3rd and 4th album, Panorama and Shake It Up, they don't appeal to me as much as the first two of them. The first two albums really smoked.
But they were playing those first 2 albums throughout the 80s.
Yeah,
Trust me.
They were killer. And they moved ahead after this and had some big hit songs that were really great. Next, we have a country album. This is the 2nd album by Alabama, and it was a huge success. It sold 4 million copies.
And I'm not quite sure I'm going to call this country. I'm just a huge Alabama fan, and I think Alabama is really one of the all-time great groups in the history of this country. They're underrated now. They were not in the 80s. They were sensational, big stars in the 80s. But their influence is absolutely underrated right now. This, for a guy like me who loved the Eagles and was just an enormous Eagle fan, I'm 21 in 1981. The Eagles break up, and here comes Alabama. Same type sound, and really talented, great songwriters, great live, great music. And guys like me, because of Alabama, crossed over to country.
They were enormously successful. They had a whole string of albums, dozens of them, it seems like. And what's important about them is they took country music and they rocked it up a little bit. So that enticed the rock crowd to come over and check them out, and that made country more popular. And the country people were listening to rock. And today, if you go to a country concert, it looks like a Kiss show or AC/DC or something. We went to see George Strait. There's all these screens and lights, and it was loud and everything, like a rock concert. And they're partially, at least, responsible for
Well, they were very patriotic. The 80s was a very patriotic decade, and a lot of that had to do with the music, and Alabama really honed in on that. Very pro-America, very patriotic music.
Next, we have number 26. This is Motown into the 80s. This is
Got to talk about this guy in the 80s.
This is Rick James. He was another guy, a real big guy. He's about 6'6". Rick James. And this is the Super Freak album. It's called Street Songs.
I was a bouncer at a nightclub, and it was Rick James and friends. It was Rick James all night, and they'd play a couple other people. He was just huge in the nightclubs in the early 80s.
Number 23, a tremendous artist. This is Luther Vandross. This is his first big album for this label. I don't know. I think this is Epic Records. Yeah. He made a couple albums before this under the name Luther, and I think it was Atlantic Records, but this is the first one under Luther Vandross. Never Too Much. I love this song. He puts forth great emotion. He's one of the best singers in the business. He was. He's remarkably good, and he did a song later on in his career, much later, called like to Dance with My Father. Are you familiar with that? You hear this song, every time I hear this song, it just tears me up. So I love him. Check out Luther Vandross. Number 21, Prince. This is his fourth album called Controversy, and he is making his way.
He's still bubbling under. A lot of people don't know about Prince in 1981.
It was big. He's moving up. This is the fourth album. The next album was 1999, and the album after that is Purple Rain. So.
But in November 28th, in 1981, a lot of people are still not familiar with Prince when this album comes out.
I remember his single from that first or second album, "Want to Be Your Lover." I like that.
Yeah. I mean, he was bubbling under.
So that's where we are, Prince. The next album, number 18, the Go-Go's.
Oh, of course, the Go-Go's.
The Go-Go's and Beauty and the Beat. Debut album by these girls. Girl rock group, 2 million copies. It was on the charts for 72 weeks. It was a #1 album for 6 weeks. A solid smash.
Yeah, I mean, just two gigantic girl bands in the 80s, the Go-Go's early 80s, and the Bangles, who were sensational late 80s, just really framed that decade with great music.
Moving up from 18 to 17, this is the Greatest Hits by Queen. Now, this album was a huge seller at the time, and it's still a huge seller. They still sell copies of this as a 1-record set and as a 2-record set even today. This is one of the biggest selling records of all time. Next, we have number 13. It's a 2-record set by Dan Fogelberg, The Innocent Age. It's one of his biggest albums. It went all the way to number 6. Now we're going to do the top 10 albums of November 28th,
1981. Here we go. Number 10.
Number 10, Olivia Newton-John. This is her biggest LP of all time, or one of her biggest albums anyway. Physical has 2 or 3 big hit singles on it. Number 9, in a long list of hit albums, this is Genesis and Abacab. Number 8, John. He likes Hall & Oates.
Hall & Oates were just
Private Eyes.
Two more voices of the 80s. You've got to mention them when you talk about the greatness of the 80s music.
I think there's 4 hit singles on
They
that
were hit makers, man. Especially in 1981. They were just hit makers all over the radio.
Next album, this is an interesting album. This is number 7. This is the break-off album for Stevie Nicks, solo LP.
And of course,
Belladonna.
Stevie Nicks, just gigantic in 1981. I mean, she's gigantic. She was gigantic with Fleetwood Mac. Then she comes out with this. And I mean, I'm living in LA, trust me, and she's everywhere. This was on billboards on the freeway everywhere.
This was the #1 album. It was on the charts for 143 weeks, which is an enormous amount of time. And it was sold 4 million copies at the time. And it's a great LP. It's a great record.
Yeah, she was a great artist. Still is.
#6, yeah. I've always liked her. I like the Buckingham Nicks album.
Oh,
and
it's a
everything.
great album.
Tremendous.
Yeah, great album.
#6, Bob Seger, another 2-record set live. This is 9 Tonight. And an interesting thing I discovered going through the charts and everything, Bob Seger has 13 platinum LPs. Can you believe that?
I believe it.
That's a lot of records.
Really talented guy.
One of my favorite groups of all time, Earth, Wind, and Fire. And this is their album, Raise. Has a big hit on it called Let's Groove.
Great song.
It's a great album. It made it all the way to #5, and what I like about them is there's always a lot of album tracks that you've never heard on the radio on there, and they're great. There's several of them on here.
And they spanned both decades. 70s, they were huge. I mean, I remember I was in high school in the 70s. These guys were huge, and then you get into the 80s, and they're still huge.
They're the
in 81.
best. They're the best.
It's that great sound. They have that great sound.
The
You know, like Chicago has a sound. Earth, Wind, and Fire has a sound. They have their own sound.
But the production is just
It's tremendous.
monstrous.
And they're great musicians.
I mean, the 50s were great, the 60s were great, and 70s. But by this time, they were using these
production. I agree with you.
The studios had
the production was at the top.
They had 80 tracks on them and stuff, and it
sounded great. Sounds great. Still sounds great.
Kill 'em. #4, Journey, one of their biggest albums. Escape. Look, I've got a little
there you go
hype sticker on there for you.
These guys were played on the radio. Like every song
this is
was Journey in 1981.
Enormous.
By this time, they were enormous in 81.
#1 album, 9 million copies. #3, The Police, Ghost in the Machine. Their next album, their last album would be Synchronicity, and that was the big one. That was the real big one.
But they were big in 81.
This one has a couple of good singles on it. I listened to this album this week. I hadn't heard it in a long time. Didn't like it. I like the singles, but the other song, #2. Here you go, John.
Yeah,
the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. Hang Fire.
Tattoo You. 9 million copies. It was #1 for 9 weeks. The only album the Rolling Stones ever had released that's sold more copies or was bigger than this is the 2-record set Hot Rocks, which was on the charts for 266 weeks. It's a 2-record set, and it sold 12 million copies. But this, as a standalone album, this is their biggest one.
Yeah, it's a great album. It is a great album.
And the #1 album, Foreigner 4. And it got a lot of airplay, let me tell you.
Foreigner and Journey were pretty much every 3 songs one was Foreigner, one was Journey.
This album
week would turn on the radio.
It was #1 for 10 weeks and sold 6 million copies. That about wraps up the LPs. We're going to move right into 45s next, okay?
All right. Top 145 from November 28th, 1981.
Okay. We've got 26 singles here.
That we're going to take a look at from the top 100.
Yeah,
Hot 100.
Let's do that. Let's start with number 81. Dan Fogelberg, the leader of the band. This single goes all the way to number 9. This is my favorite
One of the all-time great songs of the 80s.
This is one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah, it is one of the all-time great songs of the 80s. There's no question.
Next, we have number 72. This is an interesting record. This is Bertie Higgins and Key Largo. At one time, he was the drummer for Tommy Roe in the 60s. This is a unique record. It goes up as high as number 8. But they've been playing this song ever since. Every time you turn the radio on, if it's an easy station or it's an 80s station or
It's in the
just
rotation.
oldies. You hear this song, they just play it over and over. So this song is bigger today than it was
I
back
agree
then.
with that. I agree with that. Wasn't that big back then?
Number 71, Alabama. We talked about them when we had the album up here. This is their single, Love in the First Degree.
Great
I really
song.
like that
Yeah,
song.
just
Yeah.
a great song.
I forgot about the sheet music. I have a leader of the band here. I have a Key Largo here. And I do have Alabama, Love in the First Degree. You were trying to tell me that, weren't
There
you?
you go.
Love in the First
There
Degree.
you go. Awesome, man.
Okay, number 61 coming up. Little picture sleeve action here. This is Lover Boy and Working for the Weekend. Nice up-tempo rocker. Good song.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
There's the sheet music.
Yeah.
Next, we have Stevie Nicks with Tom
Picture
Petty.
sleeve.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Stop Dragging My Heart Around. Really good sounding single. Went all the way to number 3.
Everybody's familiar with the album cover, but look at that sleeve for the 45. Look at that picture.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's wow. It's unique.
Next, we have number 55. This is Gordy Records, a part of Motown. This is Rick James and Super Freak. This is the sheet music. Super Freaky.
I was a bouncer in a nightclub, and I'd hear this in my sleep because they played it. They played it like 8 times every night.
lost my head there for a minute. Number 45, an unknown band. This group is called Diesel. I picked this song because I like this record. It's called Sausalito Summer Night. I think half the band is from Holland and the other half is from the Netherlands.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
I made that up. That was like a joke. Okay. Number 42. I have a friend of mine. He likes this guy, Al Jarreau. He said, this guy's great. You got to check him out. I've never listened to all his albums, so maybe I should check him out. My friend says he's good. He's good. This is We're in This Love Together, Al Jarreau. Number 33, we had the album up here earlier. This is Never Too Much, Never Too Much. Luther Vandross. Tremendous record. This was his first hit record, by the way. Next,
we have sheet music.
Oh, yeah, I have Sausalito Summer Night. I will never get the hang of this.
That's all right.
Never get the hang of it. This is Diesel and Sausalito Summer Night. The next single coming up is number 26. This is a Canadian group on Millennium Records. A nice Millennium sleeve there. This song is called My Girl, Gone, Gone, Gone. I love this record. Made it all the way to number 22, and you think that this is a one-shot group or something like that, but this group called Chilliwack had 7 top 100 LPs out of Canada. And here's the sheet music. I am on the ball here. There we go. Right. My Girl. Number 23 is the Go-Go's, and Our Lips Are Sealed. Picture sleeve. Number 22 is one of the singles from Private Eyes. I Can't Go For That. I picked this song. I like this song. I Can't Go For That.
Of course, it's a great song. I like all
I Can't Go For That is a number 1 single, by the way.
Sheet music.
I do have a sheet music, but I Can't Go For That. Next, number 21, Rick Springfield. I think this is his the hit after Jesse's Girl. It's called I've Done Everything For You.
Yeah, great song.
Here's the sheet music for that. His real name is Richard Springthorpe. Did you know that? And he's a big guy. Let me tell you, he's a big, tall guy. This song was written by Sammy Hagar. There's his name up there. Interesting stuff. Okay, next we have number 20, Journey, Superstar Band.
Great picture sleeve.
Don't Stop Believin'. And this song only made it up to number 9.
That's amazing that this song did not make number 1.
because today it's like the national anthem. You know, you hear it all the time. An anthem.
It's one of those songs that's played now more than back then.
It's a bigger song now
Big
than
now
it was
than it was
back.
I can't believe this wasn't a #1 song.
Number 13. This is the Little River Band. They had a whole string of hits, and they're all good songs. This is one called The Night Owls. Here's the sheet music. This is a top-notch Australian band with many great records. Number 12, another gentleman with a lot of hit records in a row, Mr. Rod Stewart, and this one's called Young Turks. Made it all the way to number 5. And I have a piece of sheet music for that. Perfect. Blasting into the top 10, this is one's on RCA label, the first RCA single for Diana Ross, a remake of Why Do Fools Fall in Love, number 10, originally done by Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers back in the 50s.
Yeah, so on November 28, 1981, Diana Ross is blasting into the top 10. That's awesome. That is
amazing. I saw her on TV a couple weeks ago. Number 9. This is John's guy, Christopher Cross. Arthur's Theme, number 1 for 3 weeks.
One of the great voices of the 80s, one of the great love songs of all time, one of the great motion picture songs of all time. And, you know, if you talk about the 80s music, I know Christopher Cross is like 79, he comes out with his first album, but he was one of the key voices of the 80s. Unbelievable songwriter and unbelievable musician. Just love him.
Likeable guy. Here's the sheet music for Arthur's Theme. Next we have Bob Seger and Trying to Live My Life Without You. I believe that's a live track. I'm not sure, though. Number 7 coming up, the Rolling Stones. And Start Me Up. Went all the way to number 2. It's got to be their most well-known single, or one of them anyway.
It's not one of their most well, but I mean, it's definitely from the 80s. It's played a lot. I thought Hang Fire was a better song for this album. It's a great song.
You can't turn your radio on in the car without them.
They played a lot. They played a lot. It's not as big as Jumpin' Jack Flash, or You Can't Always Get What You Want, but they played a lot.
I do have the sheet music, Start Me Up. Number 6 is the Commodores, and Oh No.
Lionel Richie's still with them.
This is the last top 10 single with Lionel Richie on it for the Commodores, and I also have the sheet music, Oh No.
And with Lionel Richie, they were just sensational. Just sensational.
Top 5, number 5. Oh, my wife loves Air Supply. Here I am.
Kings of Easy Listening Radio.
These guys, this is interesting. They had 7 top 5 singles in a row.
Wow.
That's big. Australian, I believe, right? Air Supply. Number 4, the Police, or the Police. Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. Went all the way to number 3. A solid hit. Their next album was going to be Synchronicity, which was one of the biggest albums of the entire decade. So they were very, very hot. Number 3, Hall & Oates, one of the 4 or 5 singles off of Private Eyes. This is the title track to that. Was number 1 for 2 weeks.
These guys were hit makers. When you talk about 80s music, you have to talk about Hall & Oates. It's too bad they don't get along with each other anymore, because they were incredible together.
They passed the Everly Brothers as the most popular duo. I remember reading about that.
And you know, what's amazing, Chris, is guys like this who are... I grew up in the 80s. I was in my 20s, and they were just a part of your life. The fact they don't get along is insane. I don't care what their excuses. These guys were so good together.
I get along with everybody.
There you go. Come on, Hall & Oates.
Number 2, Foreigner, from their Foreigner 4 album. There's a big 2 on this one. Waiting for a Girl Like You. How many times have you heard this song?
A million.
A million times. A million times. Tons and tons of airplay on this song. Song was number 2 for 10 weeks. Here's the sheet music. How can a song be number 1 for 10 weeks? because this song was number
How could it be number
one.
2 for 10 weeks? That was number 2 for 10 weeks. But here comes number 1.
This was number 1 for 10 weeks. Olivia Newton-John. I don't think it's her best record, but it was certainly her biggest. Her biggest record, number 1 for 10 weeks. Huge record. What I like about Olivia Newton-John, let's talk about her a little bit. I like the fact that her albums are so good. Some of her albums, you pick them out, you play them, and you hear 4 songs you never heard before, and they just knock your socks off. So because of the songwriting, the production, and everything, I really like her. And after her hit-making days were over, she continued to make good records, and I want to tell the people out there to check out these 3 songs that you may never have heard. One is called The Rumor. It's from an album she made called The Rumor. It was written by Elton John. Sounds a little bit like Philadelphia Freedom or something like that. It's that good. It's a really great song. Wait till you hear it. And when she got sick, she made an album called Gaia, G-A-I-A. It's like a healing type of thing. And she was inspired to write songs. So she wrote all the songs on this album, and she wasn't primarily a songwriter. She wrote a song here or there, but she wrote all these songs, and I was very impressed because they were really, really good. One song in particular on this album is called No Matter What You Do, and you got to check this song out because it'll just slaughter you. It's a killer. And the third song is from Pinocchio, Walt Disney song. Everybody knows this song. It's from her album Warm and Tender. It's called When You Wish Upon a Star. When you hear this song, you realize what a great song this is. One of the greatest songs of all time. When you hear this girl sing, listen to the guitar all the way to the end. That's what we got.
All right.
That's our chart today.
November 28th, 1981.
Hope you enjoyed it.
See you on the radio.